Hey everybody and Happy New Year. Man, has it been quite the year, am I right? Anyway, now it's time for my bi-monthly Patreon Q&A, and so let's just get into it. Let's answer some questions. And let's start off with the most contentious one. Velociraptor Boobies asks, Hey Joel, how do you feel about the accusations toward Taylor Swift slash Travis Kelce of being MAGA supporters and allowing bigotry and dog whistles into her merch and lyrics? Part of me wants to take this very seriously as she has such a young, massive fan base, and what she says and does go into the cultural zeitgeist. But the other part of me thinks that getting hung up on Taylor Swift, who is in my opinion never that feminist or inclusive to begin with, is taking attention away from the blatant, violent bigotry that is getting normalized in young conservative groups. Well, look, I don't know about every single thing that Taylor Swift has ever done. You know, I'm not on like the Reddits where they talk about the nasty things that she's done and like go through the corpus of evidence that she's fascist or whatever. But let me just say this. I actually don't think that Taylor Swift is MAGA or likes Trump or anything like that. I mean, she was pretty vocal about saying that she didn't like those things. And she did say she didn't like Trump, and she did endorse Kamala Harris. You know, I'm not saying that she's the greatest ally in the universe or something, but I don't think that the evidence is really there that Taylor is MAGA, right? I think that a sober analysis of the evidence, you know, from her talking about how she doesn't like Trump to her never saying she likes Trump, would cause us to conclude that she wasn't MAGA. But you know, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, my dog just jumped on the couch. I don't know if I agree with the idea that we shouldn't be concerned about Taylor Swift being reactionary, because what we should really be concerned with is the rise of fascism among young people in America. Obviously, the rise of fascism among young people in America is the more pressing and important concern, but the truth is that people are invested in Taylor Swift's politics because they like doing that. I mean, that's their hobby. That's like a fun thing to do. So it's like saying like pinball is distracting from the rise of fascism in America, right? Or it's like saying eating a tasty bit of cake is a distraction from the rise of young fascism in America. Like it's just like it's a joyful thing for people. And to those people I say, you know, have fun. Meshach asks, how much of the film canon have you seen, like Citizen Kane, Vertigo, etc.? And do you think it's important to watch these films? Well, I've seen those two films. I mean, I've seen Citizen Kane and Vertigo. I would say I've probably seen an above average but not shocking number of classic movies. Like, I don't think it would blow your mind how many classic movies I've seen, but I've probably seen more than most people, right? Just because I'm such a lover of movies, and I have been for so long. Do I think it's important? Well, I mean, movies, they're all made up anyway, right? So if you like to watch great movies, then yeah, it's terribly important, and you should get on. I mean, if you love watching great movies and you haven't seen Vertigo, then it's the most important thing for you to do in your life right now. You know, get off of Reddit, stop talking about Taylor Swift's politics, and watch Vertigo. That's important. But you know, if you don't like movies, then I would say the opposite and say avoid Vertigo at all costs, given that it is a movie. Hi Pob asks, are you spiritually more of a Joel or a Henry? Now, for those who don't know, my real name is Henry. I would say Henry, personally. I would say that I'm more like a Henry. I think most people who know me would say I'm more of a Henry than a Joel. But I suppose that's for you to judge. In my view, I'm Henry. You know what I mean? I'm just Henry. That's my thought. But maybe you see it differently. And that's the kind of difference of opinion that we try to encourage, respect, enjoy, embrace on this channel. Carson Kirkley asks, I imagine you only use classical music in the background to evade copyright issues, but as a classical musician, I have to ask, are you a classical music enjoyer? If you are, what is your favorite piece/era? There's melodies going on in my head right now from Bach and from Chopin, but I don't remember the name of them right now. But the truth is that, you know, you ever pop on some Bach or some Chopin and just, you know, lie back and just sort of absorb it? I mean, that shit goes insane. Yes, I'm a classical music enjoyer, but certainly a very pedestrian one. Very, very pedestrian. To the point where I'd be embarrassed to start saying faves of mine. There's this one clip of Yo-Yo Ma playing at a Tiny Desk concert where he starts to play some piece by Bach on cello, And he describes it and he says, this is a composition that I've played both at weddings and at funerals.
I played this piece at both friends' weddings and unfortunately also at their memorial services.
And then he goes on to play what has got to be the most beautiful thing ever created. I mean, it's got to be one of the greatest things ever conceived by man. So I guess that would be my favorite. I'll see if I can find it, play a clip here. And that's been in a few of my videos, that particular piece, because Jesus Christ, dude, you absolutely, oh my God. Zebra5 asks, would you rather poop from your mouth forever or have eyes on your butt? I'm going to say something crazy. I'd rather poop from my mouth forever. And let me quickly try to explain why. Okay, so if you have eyes on your butt, you're gonna have a hard time in so many aspects of life. You know what I mean? You're gonna have trouble meeting people. You're gonna have trouble, finding your way in this world. Your ass has got to be out 24/7. On the other hand, you only poop, once, maybe twice a day, right? Maybe less than that. I mean, I don't know how often I poop, right? I can't tell you right now. I don't know. But the point is that you just do your little poopies, right? You go to the bathroom just like everybody else. And that's what's so important to me, just trying to be like everybody else. You go to the bathroom to do your poopies, and then instead of taking a poop from the butt, you take you vomit it up. And then you just, you brush the teeth, you get some mouthwash in there, and then you move on with your life. You're a normal person. And yes, it's disgusting, but I have to imagine that after 2 decades, 3 decades, 7 decades of pooping from your mouth every day, it can't keep bothering you, right? I mean, eventually you're going to get used to it, right? You're going to plug your nose and you're going to do your poopy. Dimitri asks, what's your moon sign, if you don't mind sharing? And is that something you already knew or something you've never looked up? I think my moon sign is Sagittarius. I don't know what that means, though. The reason why I know it is because my father was very profoundly obsessed with astrology to the point where he saw himself as something of an amateur astrologer. He was very invested in the placement of the stars and all that. When pressed on why he thinks astrology works, he would just say, it just works. He would say, this is what he'd say. This is my impression of my father if you asked him why he thinks astrology works. It just works. Henry, it just works. And this was a point of great confusion for me growing up. This was a point of profound confusion and alienation in my life as a young man. But I do know that I think that, well, I'm a Scorpio, right? But there was some talk in my childhood of the fact that there's a lot of fire in my chart and the implications this might have on the rest of my life. And perhaps that's proven to be true. I think perhaps I have lived quite a fiery life. In fact, I would say that is true. And so I thank my father for telling me that I believe that I have a moon in Sagittarius. Olga and Ryan K&C ask, you tackle a pretty wide range of media, so I imagine you spend a lot of time looking at stuff and trying to decide if there's something worthy of commentary in it. What are the kind of works that most often leave you going, well, not much to say about that? That is an interesting question. I think that at the beginning of my career, which is like 8 years ago now, that is exactly what my inner monologue was like, where I'd watch a bunch of stuff and go, is there a video in that? Is there a video in that? And I'd really worry about trying to figure out if there's enough to say about a subject and whether I have an angle on a subject before making a video on it. These days, my videos either come about because I just see something that I do find interesting, or I know that everybody else is interested in something, and so I try to hijack my brain through hours and hours and hours of attention into finding that subject interesting as well, so that I can try to impart some interesting perspective on the subjects that my audience find compelling. And in this process, I don't often like look at media and have the thought, not much to say about that. No, wait. I have that thought all the time. I mean, every second of my life when I'm watching something and trying to write about it, I have that thought. But it's not the sort of thought that I take very seriously. It's the sort of thought that just makes me go, okay, well, just keep thinking about it then. It's not a matter of the media. It's a matter of your ability to write about it, right? You have to just do it. You just have to write about it, and you have to figure it out. If it's something that you're interested in or that your audience is interested in, you got to grind it out. And you have to learn the confidence in yourself that you have the ability to do that, and I would suppose that only comes from doing it for a few years. MJR Schneider asks, a lot of big concept questions today, and I like that. MJR Schneider asks, I'm a big enjoyer of your media analysis videos, thank you. A lot of your best ones, IMO, are of stories that fail in some way, like Boy in the Striped Pajamas or Carousel, for example. I wonder if this is because you see the failure of the author's intent as revealing something interesting about the contradictions in the ideological structure of the story and perhaps of society more broadly. Is that part of why you like bad media so much? I think my answer to your question is yes, but the way you formulated it isn't the way I think about it in my head. But there's a siren going outside, so let me just pause. The siren rang, the sun came out, and now I'm bright. Anyway, I think the reason why I'm so interested in art where I think the artist kind of failed to carry forth their intent, or where I think that the artist saying something the artist didn't intend, is because that's something that I can add to your life, right? Like if the artist did what they wanted to do, if they intended to do something and then they succeeded unequivocally, then I would say that the video essay about their art is almost just the art that they made. Whereas in the case where art sort of lacks clarity into itself, where it doesn't feel like it fully understands the thing that it's about, then I can really, add something. We're the Video Guy asks, do you find it strange that thousands of people have probably seen you in their dreams? I'm not sure that I agree that thousands of people have probably seen me in their dreams. I got a message from a YouTuber friend of mine fairly recently who messaged me that he saw me in his dream, that he was, I'll divulge the story but not the name, that he was stuck in a cave and he was watching one of my videos because he was kind of nervous. And then I just came out and he saw me and I was like, hey, and he was watching me in the dream. So that's just one person that I was in their dream. But I don't know, maybe I think a few hundred people have seen me in their dreams. And yes, I guess that is a bit odd. Trevor Koenig asks, do you ever participate in any winter activities like sledding or skating? If so, what is your favorite? No, I don't do anything like that. I don't do anything fun like that. Carolyn Barnes says, I was wondering about how the process of video creation works when you are working with MothCub as an editor, especially in multi-part review videos like the DCOM one. Is order of the movies a scripting decision or an editing one? Are you giving input on editing stuff regularly, or do you basically hand over the footage and trust your judgment? Lily MothCub hasn't edited for me in more than a year now. The DCOM video was the last thing she edited for me. These days, I've been doing my own editing and my own drawing, as in the Boy in the Striped Pajamas video. As much as I'd love her to do it, whatever, that's her choice. I don't know how the order of the DCOM video came to be. I just think we ordered it in a way that felt funny and organic. I'm not sure whose creativity went into it. I'm pretty sure basically that what happened was I wrote it and then I recorded it and I sent it off. And Lily edited it, and that order, the order of the production in the end, was basically the order of the video. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I think there were probably some changes in there, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure that's true. Tatum Bow, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Tatum Bow asks, what is the coolest pair of socks you own? 1 second. These are the coolest pair of socks that I own. Algae X Hello Kitty from the Osaka World Expo. I haven't taken them out of the bag. Every time I think about wearing them, I think, no, these need to stay perfect. Look how fucking, look at that. Algae X Hello Kitty. I think these are going to be worth $10 billion one day. I think a day will come when people will be banging down my door to get the Algae collab with Hello Kitty. It's so good. Anyway, I think that's a good amount of questions. I want to say again, Happy New Year. Thanks for supporting me throughout my life and all the things that I try to do. And, you know, I don't express gratitude perhaps as much as I should, you know, and I don't think anybody does. But, you know, thank you for being there, watching my videos, engaging with the content, supporting me on Patreon this year. And I hope to do this, frankly, until the day I die. People have New Year's resolutions, people have these ambitions and goals, and of course I do too, but I don't think that any of those goals or ambitions are better or more profound in my heart than the ambition to continue doing YouTube videos. And I think that's a pretty special thing. I think that's a pretty good gift to be given in life. So thank you, and I hope you have a great year.